Let's go over every ultimate ability in Apex Legends for Season 20 and rate them on a scale of D tier to S tier. This is going to be just for the base ultimate abilities, no perks in the new Season 20 update that you get upgraded with your Evo Shield, just what it is from the start if you were to drop in right now and have your ultimate. If you enjoy this ultimate abilities tier list, make sure to subscribe for more because we are going to make a video over the passives and the tacticals for every legend as well as a weapon tier list for Season 20. All right, let's get into it. First, we have Bang's ultimate ability, which is Rolling Thunder, which if you guys do not know what that is, it is calling it an artillery strike that slowly creeps across the landscape. So if we look right here, you get this little kind of thermite looking thing, you throw it down, and everything in front of you is going to make a big line with all of these thermites, basically, or artillery strikes, and it goes in a big zigzag and covers a large amount of the area. As you can see, we're covering a large portion of all of this map. For this one, I'm going to give Bangalore a S tier on her ultimate. She has one of the best ultimates in the game, and I think it actually has probably the most value out of all of them, whether you're playing ranked, pubs, or even the professionals in ALGS. Next, we have Fuse's ultimate ability. This one does some damage, kind of like the Rolling Thunder does with Bangalore's, but it doesn't cover as much area. It goes straight up and has a ball of fire. And as you can see, it covers a good distance, but even this right here isn't affecting any of the enemy bots. And as we saw in the last Bangalore one, it hit all the way from here, as you can see, knocked out almost all of these bots over here, and even I'm pretty sure attacked one of the bots over here as well. So this one for Fuse probably is going to go closer into what I would consider probably a C tier. I don't think it's quite a D tier ultimate, because it does do some damage. I just don't think it's super valuable in a ton of fights, especially in the end game, because it doesn't cover that much of a distance. Next, we have Ashe, and honestly, I think Ashe has probably one of the worst ultimate abilities in the game. A lot of tacticals are actually probably the same amount of cover you can get from this. All it is you just open up that tactical, throw your knife or slice your knife, and you get to the top of the building. And while this is kind of nice, it does create a little portal for your teammates to go through, but it doesn't really cover too much area or too much distance, and it doesn't really allow you to get out of fights as well as you would like it to be. And sometimes it actually does not go exactly where you wanted to go. I got lucky there getting on the building, but sometimes it'll creep you on the side, and that just isn't very valuable in my opinion, as well as the rest of Ashe's kit. And for that, we are going to be putting Ashe, unfortunately, in the D tier. If I can find where she is at. Where's Ashe? There she is. We're gonna put her at the D tier, and honestly probably could be an F tier ultimate. Next, we have Maggie's Wrecking Ball, and with the perks, this actually becomes even more incredible than the actual Wrecking Ball itself. With the Wrecking Ball, you obviously throw it and it'll hit one of the targets and bounces away, and it'll keep bouncing pretty far for quite some time. You can see it's still bouncing all the way around the map until it hits another target, and then it'll explode. So with the ultimate though, you also get a speed boost of where the ultimate ran to, allowing you to also not only be able to push teams with the ball, but also speed up to them as the ball is chasing them. I don't think it's an incredible ultimate, but I do believe it has some merit, and I'm gonna put it, actually, I think I'm gonna put it in a B tier category, because I don't think it's quite A. I do believe with the perks, it does allow for probably closer to A, because you get the thermite with it as well, and it creates an X. But with just the base value of the ultimate, I'm going to give it a B. Next, we have Ballistic, and while I think that Ballistic's idea of a character is great, I think all the things that he has that are valuable, quote unquote, and all his abilities don't really do much justice to the character, especially on a team-based game. What the ultimate does is actually give you unlimited ammo, which is great for your team, so you never run out of any ammo. And it also gives your sling weapon fully golded out, which now we don't have the digi threat on the SMGs anymore, so it's kind of hard to see. But you get a fully extended mag that's gold, you get the stock that's also gold, and I'm pretty sure it gives you like a gold laser sight as well, but it just doesn't really do too much for me as it would with other ultimate abilities. And so while I think it's a good idea, I am going to be giving Ballistic a D tier with Ashe for the ultimate ability. Next, we have Pathfinder, one of my favorite characters to play. I'm not very good with him, but I think his mechanics are very fun to be able to use in game, especially in unranked. If you're somebody who's really good at Pathfinder, like it's Timmy, you can use him in ranked and not just pubs. But what his ultimate ability does is actually a large grapple that you can go a pretty far distance with. All your teammates can take it for a nice rotate as long as you don't get shot out of the open, but it is able to cover a very, very long distance and allows for some great rotations. Also with this, you can also throw it onto one of the balloons over here and actually allow it to get to the balloon a lot faster whenever you're not quite at it. I'll show you that real quick as I get the ultimate ability back. I messed up on the first try whenever I threw this down. So if you can see, whenever I put my ultimate on the balloon, it actually allows me to go to this balloon. And then when I get to the top, I can actually take the last part of the balloon. Look how far I was from it. I can jump off, take it, and then I'm able to rotate however freely I want to. And I was pretty far away from that balloon. Typically, this would take you probably an extra like 30 seconds to get to the balloon, probably running from fire and other enemies and whatnot. But this ultimate allows you to get to these balloons much, much faster. And so for that, I'm going to be putting Pathfinder's ultimate into A tier. I think it's a very good ultimate. It doesn't do damage like Bangalore's or Fuse's or Mad Maggie's, but I think the rotation and team aspect of it is really, really good. The next legend we have is Wraith, and while Wraith used to be used by a ton of people and still actually is, Wraith's abilities aren't as good as they once were. Now, her ultimate is kind of interesting and allows you to teleport a lot like Ashe's, but what it allows you to do is cover way more distance than what Ashe's would typically be. And you can go into her Q, make you run a little bit faster. And look at how much time I have to be able to create this. And I can also go off over here, and then I just hit it again, and boom, I can go all the way back to where I was, which covers a lot more distance. This is great for whenever your teammates get knocked, maybe they can hop in here, you can revive them, or enemies will come through and they won't know exactly where you are. Allows you to beam them. And while I do love Wraith, I do think she's a fun character. I just don't think her abilities are as good as they once were. And just for the sheer fact that I might get hate if I put her in C tier, I'm gonna give her ultimate a B tier. Next we have Octane, one of my favorite characters to play in pubs, not ranked, in pubs. I don't think he's a great ranked character, but he is extremely fun to play, especially since I'm on mouse and keyboard, so it allows me to kind of move around pretty fun and pretty freely. But his ultimate is good for a team-oriented rotation. So you have the jump pad, obviously. There's two different ways to take this jump pad. You can either just walk up to it, and it goes pretty high and a little bit forward, but doesn't get you super, super far. But if you go crouch into the ultimate, you go much, much farther. And then allows you to also do the double jump, and I can rotate pretty well with the one jump pad. The only issue with the jump pad is that if a team's chasing you, they're gonna be right behind you every step of the way. And while I love the character to play, I don't think the ultimate ability really does much merit for especially pubs and ALGS. You'll never see anybody in ALGS running this. But just for the sheer fact of it's fun, I'm going to keep it in the B tier. Next legend we have is Revenant. Revenant got a rework, and I believe season 18, and so all of his abilities changed, and one of them was obviously his ultimate. And what this ultimate does is it puts you into, let me make sure I get this correctly, Forge stages. And in Forge is a shroud of hardened shadows around you that blocks damage and regenerates. Your shadows and tactical are refreshed on knockdowns. So what this allows you to do is as soon as you pop the ult, you gain an extra 75 health, and then every time you actually wipe an enemy, no matter who it is, if they shoot at you, the 75, if it goes down to like 40 or whatever, gets regened every single time. I would turn the bot shooting on, but it takes them forever to be able to do any damage to you. But I do think this ultimate is incredibly useful, and I think it's actually very annoying when you're playing against somebody. You crack a Revenant, they pop their ult, they have basically another blue shield on top of whatever their shield was. And for that, I'm actually going to give Revenant, and while I say this, a very, very, very high A tier. I don't think it's quite S tier. You could put it SA. I don't really care where it is, but I have it at a very, very, very high A tier. Next, we have my favorite character in all of Apex, Horizon. I've been maining her since basically after the first month of me starting Apex. I was Bloodhound at first, then I got into Horizon. I love the movement mechanics. I love being able to go into your queue and being able to just go on top of a building nice and easily. But her ultimate is very, very useful. What it allows is to bring enemies into wherever the ultimate is ran into. So if you look right here, I throw it in the middle, you'll see both of these bots get pulled into it. What's awesome about this ultimate is, one, you can obviously shoot them, Or you can also throw grenades into it. I don't have any grenades on me, but this will allow for extreme damage onto the enemies as soon as possible. As you saw, it lasts for quite a while, and so they'll need to shoot that ultimate in order to destroy it, or they're just going to keep getting sucked into it. And this might be a little bit of bias, but I believe Horizon has one of the best ultimates in the game. She is for sure going into S tier in front of Bangalore. Next, we have another fun legend, one I never truly played. My duo was the one who always played Valkyrie before she got nerfed, and her ultimate was incredible before they added the evac towers. So obviously the evac towers, as we know, you drop them, they go up to the sky, you can take them just like any other regular balloon, and allows you to fly. But if you look right here, Valkyrie, oh, I am in the wrong, I'm not in the fly zone. Let's see if I can go into it now. There we go. So as soon as you get into this, you take this nice and high, it allows for a full jet, and it gets you, I think, a little bit higher than the balloon. Exactly, and then you can just fly nice and easily. So it is higher than the balloons, but without the perks, it's not quite useful whenever you can find so many evac towers in the game right now. But with her perks, see if I can show you this. I think it's launch 15% higher with the skyward dive, which is the ultimate. So if you pick this, we'll show you a little demonstration. Let me go over here and just get the ultimate back real quick. You see, whenever we get this ultimate, we go 15% higher. We were going pretty high before, but now we're going 15% higher. So I'll show you another comparison. So as I have my ultimate back once again, we're going to pop an evac tower to show the difference of the height versus the first one. So, you know, I was slightly above the evac tower before, and now with this new ultimate, you'll see I get pretty significantly higher than this balloon. Right now, I probably was gone there, and now I got even higher, and it allows me to fly even further, and it also allows me to be able to just cover more ground while seeing more of the map. So the perk does allow for her to be a little bit better, which brings her back to, I believe, her original form. But with just the base and all the evac towers, I think this ultimate just quite isn't it. And I'm going to actually put Valkyrie at a B tier ultimate. Next legend we have is the first character I ever used in Apex, and probably a lot of other people, Bloodhound. So obviously Bloodhound's tactical is you can scan enemies, right? You see all these enemies, little squares right there. When you go into the ultimate, what it allows is you can see them red, so you can see them through smoke. And every time, I'm pretty sure every time you get a knock, it regens your Q, and you can just start throwing your Q and scanning for your teammates like you did prior. So you see right here, if I can hit my shots, I get it back pretty quickly, and then I just boom right to the Q, perfectly easy. Nice and controlled. So what I love about this ultimate is that when Bangalore is being used on a map, you can see all the enemies through the smoke, but then also you get to queue faster for your enemies to be able to see for your teammates to see the enemies also. But with that, I'm going to put Bloodhound's ultimate at a pretty high A tier, probably like a mid A tier. I say B tier, I meant to say A tier, because in the way that the landscape of ranked and especially ALGS right now is going, Bloodhound is very, very useful. With the bang meta, it allows you to be able to see the enemies in the ultimate, and especially without having a digi on the SMGs anymore, I think he's very, very, very viable. Next, we have Crypto, and I don't really use Crypto that much. I think I've only ever used him for whenever there's challenges. But if you put your drone out and you fly the drone, how do I ride it? Wait, how do I don't even know how to move this thing, but you basically put it out, and then whenever you, oh, here we go. I can enter it with the Q. That's how it is. See, I don't even know how to use Crypto at all. So then I go out of it, and what I can do is when I hit my ultimate, it actually sends a huge, massive EMP, and it actually damages some of the enemies within that distance. It also slows them down for a split second. So I think it's a pretty useful ultimate, but I just think Crypto's kit is not very, very useful for ranked right now. But just solely based off the ultimate, I'm going to, I think, just put him in a C tier. I actually, you know what? Changed my mind. We'll put him in a B tier. It does 50 damage to every single enemy that is within the circle or the radius of. So it's useful, but you still have to have your drone in the right spot. You don't just get to throw it. You have to make sure the drone's in the perfect spot. So I don't think it's A tier by any means. You know what? Actually, now that I'm talking more about it, putting it back in C tier. Next legend we have is Seer, and his ultimate and all of his kit used to be extremely, extremely better, but he got nerfed to the ground. And so his kit's not as well as it used to be. Obviously, you can see enemies whenever you're zoomed in. You can see where they are. You see which direction they're going, the pulse. But what the ultimate does is you throw it down, you'll be able to see how many enemies are within the circle. So if you see down on the bottom, it says 4 enemies detected. You have 1, 2, 3, and I don't know where the 4th one is. Probably over here somewhere. Might be this one over here. I can't really tell. I think it is that one. But it allows you to see how many enemies are in the circle. And if you're in an end game, I'm pretty sure that like you'll know roughly how many people there are. So with Seer's ultimate right now, I'm actually gonna put it in D tier. And I'm kind of sad to say that because he was meta for so long, but I just don't think that he has the juice anymore to really compete at a B level or even maybe a C level in the current state of Apex. Next we have Vantage, and honestly I love Vantage's ultimate. It's very annoying to play against. What it is a sniper rifle. Is actually the full description of it. Use your custom sniper rifle to mark enemy targets, which applies the damage bonus for you and your teammates. So what it does basically mean is you get this Vantage sniper, right? Come through here. I still have one that's actually still high level, so you can zoom in a little bit. What it allows you to do is you mark them. 50 health, nothing crazy, but you get extra damage now every time you hit them. So now it's 100 damage, and then it's 100 damage again. So once you get marked, the enemy has to hide, so they can't start poking at you anymore, because if they get hit one more time, it's 150 damage versus just the 50 damage that you had. And so the mark is actually also really good because I'm pretty sure it shows them to your teammates as well. So I think this is a good ultimate. There's only, was it 6 bullets? 6 bullets in the sniper. I think it could be a little bit more damage on the initial, maybe just 75, nothing crazy, because it is a sniper rifle. It's not easy to hit shots. You have the Sentinel that hits for like, what, 88, longbow's 50, but you get obviously more bullets. And so I don't think it's an ultimate that actually truly shows the true potential that you can have with Vantage. And so for that, I'm gonna put Vantage at, we'll put her at B tier, because getting marked is very annoying and it has to have the enemies hide like very soon, or else they could get knocked, especially if you give them a headshot. So for now, we're gonna keep her in B tier unless something's changed. Next, we have Gibby, a character who was once meta, became out of meta, and now is back in the meta. So what Gibby's ultimate is concentrated mortar strike on a position that you mark with smoke. It's kind of a lot like Bangalore's in the sense. And so what it allows you to do is throw something just like Bangalore's was, and as soon as you throw it down, it has all these mortar strikes coming in. But instead of going in like a zigzag like Bangalore's was, it's just kind of in a big circle and does a ton of damage. But the best way to counter Gibby's ultimate is to bubble. So a Gibby really does counter a Gibby. And I think that the ultimate's actually pretty good in the base state of it. And so I'm going to actually give Gibby, and I know it's called Gibby because it's Gibraltar, but I call him Gibby, so get over it. We're going to put his actually in an A tier because it's fast, it has a lot of damage, and you really can't get out of the way of it unless you are a Gibby bubbling up. So I think I'm gonna put him actually in an A tier. I didn't think I was gonna do that before the video, but I like the way you can play that quickly, fast, and push a team nice and quick. So we're gonna keep him in A tier. Next we have Lifeline, and Lifeline is a care package. And while it gives you a nice amount of health meds and attachments, sometimes like a backpack, it doesn't really do too much besides get you bats, meds, attachments. But what Lifeline does really, really well in the new perk system that's super useful is that you can guarantee a red weapon, a care package weapon, in her next care package when you call it in. So we'll just do this one, and then we'll do next ult is a supply drop. So as you see, I drop this next ult, there's going to be some kind of red weapon in it. I think it's a 50% chance that it's a Kraber or bow. And then I don't think I've seen a wingman yet, because I have a buddy who plays Lifeline. I don't think we got a wingman yet, but we'll see right here if we can find it. And as soon as I said that, of course I get a wingman. So you are guaranteed a red weapon whenever you open this up. You also get this full evo cache, which is really nice, and then another attachment. So it's more of a attack based with this upgrade, but we are doing this based on the default. And while I think it's good, with the change from evos, it doesn't do as well as it used to be. Before, if everyone on your team had a blue evo shield, you would guarantee a purple in the next one. And so with that change, I'm actually going to be putting Lifeline's ultimate at the base level at a C, not a D, because bats are very important and kind of scarce to come by because you can't craft 6 of them in a row. You can only craft 1 per crafter. So I think getting the bats is really, really nice. So we're going to keep her at a C tier. Now you get the perk system, A tier. You get a wingman, you get a Kraber, even a bow, A tier for sure. Next we have Mirage. Obviously Mirage, you can throw a decoy, nice and easy. But what Mirage does on his ultimate is throw tons of decoys. So no one knows exactly where I'm at. And as you get farther away, they get farther away. There's a way to be able to determine which one is not the decoy, but they all move at the same pace that you do. You crouch, they crouch. So I think it's kind of nice, especially very annoying, because if someone's looking at your ultimate, they're like, this one, this one, this one, this one, and they just keep getting messed up by the decoys. And while it is annoying, I don't believe it's super, super helpful in team fights. I think it's kind of more of like your two teammates got wiped, you're by yourself, let's throw the ultimate to throw them off. And so I think I'm gonna actually put it in a C tier. It does well in certain situations, but it's not game changing, it's not fight changing like some of the other ultimates for the legends. Next we have Loba. Loba is the black market. Obviously her black market, you drop it down, it comes open, everybody in the squad gets 2 items. You go through, obviously we have a ton of items here. I can grab the Kraber, I can grab whatever. I can also grab unlimited ammo. That's very important. Ammo is very, very important. So I could just keep grabbing light ammo if I wanted to, heavy ammo. I don't need the energy, but we can go here. Any helmets, backpacks, core shields, bats, any attachments. Obviously we're in the firing range, so we have tons of attachments, but it's a very, very useful ultimate for your team. It's not just for you, it's for your team. So you get 6 total items on top of unlimited ammo. And so I think that this is super useful in games whenever, hey, I need a bat. All right, let's drop the Loba. We need ammo. Let's drop the Loba. We'll be able to get some from death boxes that are outside the circle. Maybe we can't quite get to, or maybe we can't leave the building. And so it is very useful beginning of the game and end game. So I'm actually going to give Loba's ultimate, I think I'm going to put it at a high B tier. I want to preface this with, it could be a low A, it could be a high B. I do think that not being able to change fights is what makes the go into an A or S tier. So it's a top level ultimate, but I just do think it is a B tier ultimate. Next we have Newcastle. Newcastle's been getting a lot of looks in Pro League and ranked a lot lately. Obviously you have a shield that you can just throw, hide behind, you know, you can get redirected over here, but his ultimate is a big ol' shield. Has a ton of damage, and as soon as it gets opened up, it has this little reactive thing. So if someone hits it, he gets shocked and stunned for a second. Tons of damage to this thing as well. I don't know what the actual damage, I think it's like 350 or something like that. But once it gets that, then you can destroy it. But then look at this, I can still hide on this side. So it's not like I'm just taken away by this middle part. I can still hide on the other side. Teammate can hide over there. You know kind of how like the walls work. And so I think it's a good ultimate. Is it game changing? Don't think so. I think it's gonna also be a B, C tier ultimate. For in-game, it's pretty nice though whenever you like don't have a rock to hide around or a building to hide into. So for that alone, I'm gonna keep it in the B tier category. Next we have Conduit, one of the probably best ultimates in the game. So what it is you throw these spikes down. They can kind of spread out however far away you throw them, but what they allow you to do is stop enemies kind of in their tracks. If you see here, this one's gonna get stuck right here, and it's getting pinged for 10 every second. This one's also getting the same, and they're getting stunned, they're slowed down. If I can hit my shots, you'll see that. So this ultimate is very, very good, and it's kind of a slow duration right now because it did get a little bit of a nerf. Before, it truly was an S tier ultimate, but with the nerfs to season 20, the ultimate for Conduit is going into an A tier category. We only have 2 S tiers so far. So we'll see if we get any more S tiers going later on in the video. Next we have Caustic. Caustic, man, one of the funniest ults, honestly. You can make jokes about it, fart gas, poop gas, whatever. What Caustic's ultimate does is throw a gas and makes a big old cloud and hits for 5 every single second. They can't see. As you see, it's actually getting more and more as the ticker goes on. And this is only their white health. So as you see, he still has shield, but now he's dead because it's the white shield. So if you can go into there, get that shield knocked pretty quickly, it actually does a crazy amount of damage and is so good in late game. And with the perks, you actually can regen in the Nox gas as well. And you also have better vision in it as well. I like using this perk more than anything because then I'll be able to see into the smoke. Let me show you actually. I'll get one more ultimate. So as this goes, now I can actually see a lot better in this sort of smoke. You can even say once you actually aren't even in the smoke, you just see better in the smoke, which is really, really nice. So with that, I am going to put Caustic's ultimate in A tier as well, because it does change fights quite a bit. It doesn't do enough damage for me to really put it in S tier or change the fight that much, because people can run out of it super easily. But if you're in a building, it's super useful to be able to trap people in there, get probably 30-40 damage off them, rip their shield. If they have blue or purple, you can rip that shield pretty quickly, and then get to their white health, which is probably only going to be at like 30 or 40 by the time you get to that white health. So for that, I'm going to put him in A tier. Next legend is Wattson. Wattson has probably one of the most interesting and ratty ultimates in the game. So what it is obviously her Jhin, right? What this Jhin does, you see, let me take a little bit of damage here first. You see I take some damage here. I won't have any shield. And then when I go into my ultimate, it starts to regen. But also what's super cool about the ultimate is if you throw a nade into it, I forgot it's my Jhin. It's not gonna work. It would typically eat up the Jhin, but it's my Jhin, so it's not gonna do that. It would destroy any grenades, thermites, ultimates that come in, or not truly ultimates. Yeah, I think all ultimates that you throw something will also get eaten by this Jhin. And the regen of shield is also very useful, and you can also change this to be able to have 2 pylons, double the HP with the perks. But with the base ultimate, I actually think that she could be, do I say S tier? Playing against Wattson is very annoying, so I think I'm gonna put Wattson in S tier, which is kind of a crazy take, but I think it's an S tier ultimate truly. For the next to last legend, not the last legend, the next to last legend, we have Ramparts, and the Ramparts Sheila. Sheila is so annoying. As you can see, it just does a crazy amount of damage whenever you hit the shots. It just deletes people like it's going out of style. And then you put up a wall, and then guess what? They can't shoot you, but you know what you can do? You can for sure shoot them. This ultimate's incredible. It kind of got a buff this season too, which is the most wild thing I've ever heard in my entire life, because I hate playing against Sheilas. I hate playing against them with the walls. It makes it incredible. At the base though, the damage output is absolutely wild, and you just saw me wipe 4 bots with red shield, and I wasn't even done with my ultimate yet. I am going to put Rampart's ultimate in S tier. That's a hot take. That might be hotter than Wattson's ultimate. I hate playing against Ramparts. My team doesn't play Rampart. I probably need to start playing Rampart if I'm being honest. But the ultimate just shreds people. If you have anybody with relatively good aim, you're decimated instantly. And I think it is a incredible ult and a very annoying ult all at the same time. And for the last legend, we have Catalyst. Catalyst's ultimate, the Dark Veil, actually got a nerf this season. And so if you can see, it's not quite as long as it used to be. So it only goes to about there. This used to probably be able to cover this entire, from here to here pretty easily. And so now, if you look, you can actually get a increase to the ultimate. And so you saw it went from about here to the end of the wall. We're gonna see how much farther this ultimate gets with the perk. And might I add, this perk is actually just reverting the wall to what it was prior to season 20. So let's start from this corner right here and see how much farther this wall goes. Get it right here. Go all the way through. And as you see, this wall is extremely longer. We started about here and got all this extra, and yeah, we're a little bit off here, but you get 15% more of this wall. This is a long wall to be able to play behind cover, especially something like this with a rock. Boom, boom, go on this side, boom, boom. And so with the nerf, I believe Catalyst's ultimate is actually just going to be an A tier. It is a great ultimate, but with the shortening of it, I just don't think it has the capability that it once did. She's still a great character, but not to the extent of how OP she was in season 19. If you stayed till the end of the video, thank you so much. It means the world. Also, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you like videos like this, or just click on one of these.